Awesome. So good morning, Naomi. Are you doing well this morning?
Hello, Cindy. Yep, very well, thank you.
That's great. Fantastic. Our team really appreciate you joining us this morning and help us to raise awareness on this topic. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and it's a win-win situation.
Perfect. Naomi, would you mind just stating your name and your non-for-profit organisation and just giving us a brief overview of your experience within digital inclusion?
Sure. So my name's Naomi Middlebrook and I'm the president of RADFLY, Realise the Difference for Local Youth. And we're a not-for-profit based on the Gold Coast, and this is our 10th year of existence. We're an interesting not-for-profit because basically we're an intermediary organisation, so we're not working strictly speaking at grassroots level with young people in need. We're supporting other organisations who work directly with young people. So we're obviously dealing with disadvantage. I like to think we talk about young people experiencing vulnerability, but I like to say experiencing because it's not a set mode. And, so many of I should have said we deal with youth. So, we're basically looking at 12 to 25 years. And that's a very broad spectrum of age and developmental levels for young people. And at different times, young people are going to experience need or disadvantage or vulnerability. So it's not a permanent state. And I always like to make that very clear. Interestingly, before the time of COVID really hit, we we're starting this, what we call the laptop project through Yes House in Southport, and they work with young people and young families in need. And so even before COVID, they raised a flag that there were young people that they were supporting that didn't have access to digital devices. And as we know, and especially now with COVID, not just learning, but learning and employment have moved to online platforms. So it's really important that we have equity for all young people and give them access to what they need.
Yeah, definitely 100%. And such needed services, as you were saying, especially in the time we're in right now.
And I think post-COVID, we are going to possibly move to a totally different level of delivering education and workplaces. So I think that the online situation, unfortunately, will continue to dominate in areas.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about that being in our future, and we're excited to see where it takes us, but also the challenges of bridging that divide if it just spreads further.
Yeah.
Now, as the president of RADFLY, you play a crucial role in providing help for our local community. Your vision for young people to fulfill their potential by being supported by a community that values them is very motivating and powerful. What was the inspiration for this organisation?
Well, I wasn't one of the foundation members, but my vice president, Mara Bennett, the mayoress, Ruth Tate, and another group of incredible women started the organisation to just help people that they were aware of in the community in need. And, over the years, the need has escalated, and youth is a really challenging age group to work with at the best of times. So, when their problems can be quite complex.
Yes, definitely. And I guess we're seeing that need bridge further and further now. And that's what our group is aiming to do. We're aiming to bring awareness to that need.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, try and reach a digital divide.
And, when we look at the digital divide in relation to education, the big picture is that, and we know this, that education eliminates inequality, not just for gender, but in reducing socioeconomic challenges, poverty. It makes the world we live in more sustainable, and it's just the bottom line.
So we've talked about volunteering as well and having the community get involved, especially with your organisations. And I think that's a really important thing, getting the community involved to help out as well.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest aspects, I guess, of what we do is not just raising funds, but it's raising awareness. And, you know, that's a sort of a starting point, I believe, making people aware. And
yes, definitely. And that's what we're trying to do as well.
mm-hmm.
Now, what are a few types of services that are offered through Redfly that can help individuals and families access technology and digital services?
Sure. Well, as I said, we support a number of organisations working with young people. We have a school called Arcadia College, which is under the umbrella of Ohana for Youth. And they are under Ohana as well as Gen Z Employment. And this previously was Cisco. So they are really successful at helping with training pathways and employment. But specifically, we have the laptop project, which we'll probably run it for another week. And that's supporting Yes House and their clients. And that is under the umbrella of Wesley Mission Queensland. So it all sounds very complicated, but we have a specific project which is raising money for laptops. I think to date we've provided 12 and we're trying to source another 8.
Yeah, wow.
But, you know, I do see that need once a new school year begins next in 2021, that, you know, there'll probably be more young people. They said in the news today that on the Gold Coast, unemployment's going to rise by maybe 20%. I don't know how accurate that figure is, but regardless, it's alarming. So with financial challenges, families can't always provide extras, and I mean it shouldn't be an extra, but you know, digital devices are expensive.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I just see that problem becoming more and more. So did I answer that question? We have a specific project, and then we support other organisations who are directly working with young people.
Yeah, and that laptop project is going to be so useful to those people in need. We've talked to others about how technology in homes these days is an essential service, especially in the time that we're in.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, getting those laptops out to those people is something that is going to be such a useful technology.
And especially, you know, Australia is a very, in comparison to other parts of the world, you know, we're quite a privileged, wealthy society. So it's alarming, the statistics of young people who don't have access, to devices or even to, you know, the connections and the internet. So it's sort of a really broad-based problem.
Yes, definitely. Now, building upon that, Naomi, if you could perhaps change one thing to bridge the digital divide, what do you think you might do and why? It's a bit hard to answer.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that question. If I could change one thing, yeah, I mean, I guess it's letting all young people have that equity and the same platform to learn and develop. But no, it's a tricky problem.
Yes, definitely. A lot of the people that we have interviewed have expressed that how broad and hard that question is to answer, because there's just so many things that we could do as a society to help bridge this problem.
And it's, you know, so I'll just keep on making people more aware. And if, you know, if we can foster a culture of giving in young people, so that, you know, we're looking at, even, you know, if people could just give a very small percentage of their monthly wage, that they, you know, the cost of a couple of cups of coffee, every little bit helps and can make a huge difference.
Yes, and I agree with what you said there with young people. We need to start that at a young age and bring that awareness at a young age. And in the end, that's what you're doing with youth services, and it's a very needed service. Now, we've already sort of touched on this, but have you observed any other barriers personally in terms of accessing technology within your experience?
When you move into sort of remote regional centres, that's huge because they don't have the infrastructure always to have access to, the internet, that connectivity problem. But hopefully that's improving. But that's huge, and poverty and disadvantage, I think, are the biggest barriers.
Yes, definitely. Poverty and disadvantage is sort of the base of what we're looking at. And yeah, your organisation is bringing out to those disadvantaged people. So it's very needed. Now, is there any advice you would perhaps give to someone who wants to make a difference in help bridging the digital divide?
Yep. So I was thinking about that earlier as well, in preparation, and we can all make a difference. So it starts with awareness, but it can be overwhelming. How do I start? Where do I start? So reach out to existing organisations. I think Australia has one of the largest percentages, I believe, of not-for-profits. So, we don't necessarily have to keep setting up new or reinventing the wheel, so to speak. So reach out to organisations that are already supporting and delivering help to all elements of society, not just young people. So, if they just start, I mean, the younger generation are so all over the platforms that they can use. So social media is a huge one, and all the organisations, they've got themselves onto social networks now. There's a proliferation of sites that someone could access. And then just give your time. Give your time. So volunteers, they're sort of diminishing, sadly. So if you can spare a night or part of your weekend. And then, I think there are fundraising campaigns. So GoFundMe, the project we are delivering at the moment, the laptop project, is through Everyday Hero, through Wesley. So, there's all sorts of ways that you can just join existing services.
Yes, definitely. There's so many different options for people out there. We just need to raise that awareness. And
yeah, that's right. But they're easy to find, and there's national, international, national, and Gold Coast based organisations. I find the problems in the world sometimes overwhelming. So I think, well, I can make a difference in the world I live in, and that's why I choose to work with RADFLY, because it's supporting our Gold Coast community. And I was shocked when I first joined a number of years ago. There's another side to the Gold Coast that, unless you are really informed, you don't know about the need and the disadvantage, and the young people who are really doing it tough, young families as well, or not just young families, but families.
Yeah, as were we when we joined this project. I don't think any of us were fully aware of just how much there was a need and how much that gap between the divide needed to be bridged. So now that we're aware, we just want to bring that awareness to others and start to help that problem.
Yeah.
Now,
is there any starts one step?
Yes, definitely. Is there any further comments or notes you'd like to add that perhaps we haven't spoken yet, Naomi?
No, I don't think so. I think you really covered it with the questions and responses. So just keep on doing what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing where this might take you. And and in a digital world, it's easy to create projects, and, as I said, online communities that will help with donations, if not time. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Well, again, we cannot thank you enough for being with us today. Your experience firsthand with bridging this digital divide is powerful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And all the best to you. Nice to meet you, Cassidy and Ashley, and your team. And I look forward to the outcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Naomi.
Pleasure. All right. Bye-bye.